Good morning, good morning, good morning, wake and takers. How are we doing on this beautiful Thursday? I'm back once again. My name's Justin. You can go ahead and follow me on X at jowens_ff. Got it fixed up down there at the bottom. Realizing now that I am on the wrong side. Sorry about that. But yeah, back once again for another amazing wake and take. Going to be going over some of the news that's come out since Tuesday, and also going to be taking a look today with redraft season coming up. I want to break down my favorite picks at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of your drafts, giving you the guys that I like the most to kind of just give you that little push to get over the hump and really have a good season this year. Also, if you guys aren't already aware, we got a ton of shows on the Player Profiler Now YouTube channel. Go ahead, if you haven't already, subscribe. Check out all of the different shows that we have. There's all sorts of different types of content out there between Dynasty, Best Ball, the daily news. We got a little bit of everything out there. So subscribe to the channel, give us a follow, come in and check out the shows. And with that, let's go ahead and start getting into the news. So, as we know, there's been a little bit of the rumblings going on with Terry McLaurin of the Washington Commanders. He has been not happy with his contract. He wants an extension. The team isn't really looking to give it to him right now. There's a lot of posturing going back and forth and a lot of rumblings. And we're looking for any signs that Terry's going to just go ahead and sign. And it just doesn't seem like it's coming. With training camps coming up, there's rumors going around that he might be skipping out on camp. And that is something that you just hate to hear about. He's one of those guys where he's really, really good. He's shown that he's really good. So you think that the team's going to go ahead and pay him, but he's also kind of hitting that age where maybe the team doesn't want to pay him. Not sure what's going on, why the Commanders haven't gotten a deal done. He had his full-blown breakout season last year with Jaden Daniels, and it just seems like they're dragging their feet a little bit. But I'm fully confident a deal will get done, but it's not good to see a wide receiver threatening to hold out of camp. That training camp time, especially with the young QB, is just more time to get used to each other, more time to be more comfortable on those timing routes. And also, we always see it where a wide receiver holds out, they skip a little bit of training camp, they come in late, and there's always this slower ramp-up stage or even the risk of those lower body muscle-type injuries, and that's just something I really don't want to see with Terry. He's someone that I've already kind of pegged as a little bit of a fade due to the fact that so much of his production last year came off of touchdowns. I'm just not sure if it's fully sustainable. So at the ADP that he's been going at, I've already been kind of hands off. And the longer that this drags out, the less likely I am to draft him unless that ADP really takes a dip. Another piece of news that we have is the Jordan Addison trial. It was supposed to be on Tuesday, got pushed to a pre-trial mediation today that we're going to hear about. So not anything definitive to report right now, but we are keeping an eye out on it because, as Adam Schefter tweeted out, if he is convicted, it is a baseline 3-game suspension for Addison. And that's something that we just don't want to see for the Minnesota Vikings. That will have some big implications on JJ McCarthy, as his number 2 weapon will be missing at least 3, if not 3 to 6 games. That's huge. It does make me feel more comfortable taking TJ Hawkinson, where he will get the volume that I want to see from a tight end that I'm taking in that top 7 rounds or so. So while it would be bad news for Addison and for McCarthy himself, I think that we could see something shake out here where Hawkinson is more palatable in his redraft ADP. And also for a little bit of a dynasty little sprinkle here, Ty Felton is someone that I would be looking to keep an eye on in dynasty. There's a ton of leagues out there where he's still on waivers, or if you haven't had your rookie draft yet, he's someone in the late rounds, the 4th round that you can get. He's an explosive guy that's already been reported to have some involvement in the special teams for the Vikings this season. So we love to see an explosive guy getting his opportunity here, where there's going to be a vacancy of targets for at least the first 3 games or so once this if this does come down negatively with Addison. And it's just something to keep an eye on in Dynasty, where you can grab this guy for absolutely nothing right now, and he gets a couple games where he gets good targets, good volume, and all of a sudden people are willing to trade maybe even just a third for him. And that's a win for someone you're getting off the waivers in my books in Dynasty. And the last bit of news that I have here today is going to be about the Chicago Bears, Colston Loveland, the top 10 tight end that they drafted this season. He is self-reporting, of course, so take it with a grain of salt, coming in and saying that he is going to be 100% ready for training camp, which is something that was a big question mark kind of hanging over the Bears and their top 10 selection. He was dealing with injury at the end of last season in the college football, and it was just kind of one of those things where you know that the Bears knew about it, but also like they're still taking him with the top 10. So like, what was the severity of the injury? What were we really looking at here? And it seems as though he's going to be ready to jump right in, get used to the offense with Caleb and everyone else around him. So it really just adds more murkiness to the already clear as mud target distribution that's going to be present in the Chicago Bears offense. We know DJ Moore is most likely going to be the top dog still. He hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. Rome Odunze is a very popular player that people are taking their shots on this season. The Bears also took Luther Bird in the 3rd. So there's just a lot of different guys there with just no real certainty outside of DJ Moore at the top. We also have, we know DeAndre Swift can catch passes out of the backfield. How good he is with those catches, TBD, honestly. But it's really something to just kind of keep an eye on, and someone that I'm going, in offense in particular, that I'm going to be listening and reading very much into when it comes to the beats about who's taking reps where, who seems to be included in what packages and what type of offense they're really going to run. We know Ben Johnson's coming in and he is going to just kind of shake it up. He wants to retool this entire offense. He showed that in the draft by taking 2 skill position players very high in the draft. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I am very, very intrigued to see what the reports coming out are in terms of what this offense is going to be looking like for the 2025 season. It's something where it's a big opportunity for fantasy players to really take advantage of the uncertainty and that ambiguous type of passing game, where you can really take advantage of ADPs, where guys like Rome Odunze or Colston Loveland can be really suppressed because of the uncertainty. And then all of a sudden it becomes a consolidated offense, and Odunze or Loveland can win you a season at the end of the year. So again, something to keep an eye on. And actually looking forward to next week on Wake and Take. I'm looking to do a training camp preview where we're kind of looking at some situations to keep an eye on, some players to keep an eye on. And I will be joined by Evan Ringler of Player Profiler, our director of analytics. He's going to be coming on and kind of sharing with us the situations that he is projecting positively or maybe even negatively, and just some things that we want to keep an eye on in training camp as well. But for today, we are going to move right along. I am going to, again, be going over players at the beginning of draft, the middle of the draft, and at late round draft. I'm going to be giving you guys one guy at each of those spots that I'm really targeting this season in 2025 to kind of carry me forward and make sure that I'm maximizing my roster here. And I can't do that analysis. I can't look into that without always checking the rankings over at Player Profiler. So before we jump into that, let's hear from the podfather about the player rankings.
People say, oh, there's so much free on Player Profiler. What's in the premium package? Well, it starts with the player rankings. We have the best process for ranking and projecting players, not just seasonal leagues, though. We're talking about tight end premium, specifically FFPC, best ball, specifically underdog, including their superflex rankings. And then we have IDP rankings, dynasty rankings, rookie rankings, Scott Fishbowl rankings, offensive line rankings by Dan Fornick, cornerback rankings throughout the season where you can see who's matched up with who. It's incredible. And think about who's contributed to our processes over time. Math majors, analytics powerhouses, plus you get the contributions from the real football guys. Billy Muzio, Dan Williamson, Bradley Stalder. That's why our rankings are the best. And if you want to upgrade and go all in, use promo code Underworld or your host promo code, and you get $25 off.
Absolutely love everything about the all-in package, especially those rankings at this time of year where you have drafts flying everywhere. You have those late dynasty rookie drafts. You have late startup drafts in dynasty. You got your redraft. You're still cranking out the best ball. Those rankings really just help you keep in tune. And as you saw at the top left there, shout out to Evan Ringler for being the director of analytics here and really making sure those projections are tight and math-driven, data-driven. Also want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat right now. Good morning. Happy Hudson, Jamie, Rick. Thank you guys so much for being here and for participating. I appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into those draft targets. When I'm looking at the early rounds, my number one guy that I just keep coming back to, and I does not matter who I start with in the first round, I keep coming back to him in the late second. It's going to be Chase Brown, running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know you guys are sitting here thinking, whoa. You told me he was a sell on your first show with Jason, and that's very true. In Dynasty, I am not too confident in the long-term value. But as I said in my take there, 2025, he is going to be an absolute monster. They still have not invested significant capital in the running back position behind Chase Brown. They show that they are completely comfortable just feeding him the ball repeatedly, including in the red zone and the goal line. Last season, he had 18% of his touches came in the red zone, and that's that high opportunity, like the high scoring opportunity that you're really looking for, especially at the running back position. You want to see touchdowns. It's amazing that he's getting the high volume in general, including in the passing game. He was number 6 in targets, but the important thing is we want the touchdowns. And the Bengals are a high-powered offense. They're going to have to score 1 million points again this season because of the fact that their defense is just absolutely gutted. So it's really going to come down to Burrow, Chase, Higgins, and Brown. And Brown is he's a very much a focal point of this offense. He's not just an afterthought. He is someone that they try to get the touches to, and he is really someone that I'm excited to draft. Like I said, it does not matter who I took in the first round. If I took a running back, if I took Saquon or Gibbs or anyone early on, I'm still comfortable going with that robust RB build by taking Chase in the late second, sometimes even early third. And especially if I am taking a wide receiver early, like a Jamar Chase, I can set up a really nice stack there with Brown in the second, or even a safe guy like CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, those types of guys where you have your floor absolutely set. Chase Brown is just an awesome pick on that way back through to really set yourself up for balance. And he's got a shot at being a top 3 running back this season, in my opinion, just based off the fact that offense needs to score. And he is someone that I am fully confident in putting up double-digit touchdown numbers and having the touches and the yards to go along with it to really just put together that full, complete season that we're looking for. Moving on to the middle rounds, my number one guy in the middle rounds that I'm really targeting, and this is rounds I would say like 5 to 10 that we're saying, where you got your solid base where you either got like your 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, your hero RB, and you're just kind of looking to find your upside. You're looking to start taking your big ceiling guys. I'm looking at Tet McMillan, rookie wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. Right now, he's being taken at pick 51. So it's kind of a little bit of a cheat for me here to be saying, oh, it's a mid-round guy when really he's at the very beginning of round 5 right now. And I get that. So I got a little bit of an extra pick for you guys coming up here. But going back to Tet, wide receiver 23 off the board right now. he's going to be an absolute target monster. That's what Carolina drafted him to be. He's got the draft capital. He's got the profile where he's a big-bodied guy that runs he runs a 4.58, a 103.6 speed score. So it's really an offense that is looking for their true identity. They got Bryce Young. They got Chuba Hubbard in the backfield, and they showed that they wanted to use Chuba Hubbard, but they also don't really have the team around that core to grind games out on the run game. They're going to have to throw the ball. They're going to have to develop a pass identity, and that's exactly where Tet steps in as the alpha. We saw last year, even when Bryce wasn't having a good statistical game, even though they weren't winning the games, he was still able to prop up one wide receiver. He wasn't able to prop up multiple passing options, so it wasn't like there was two guys in this offense that I'm looking to target. It really is just Tet, because we had Adam Thielen come on late last year where Bryce was just hyper targeting his number one. And in weeks 12 through 17, Adam Thielen was averaging 17.5 fantasy points per game. The corpse of Adam Thielen was putting up 17.5 points per game in this exact offense, the exact way that they're running it now. And we are now taking Adam Thielen. We're putting him over to the side as the number two option, as a good outlet for Bryce Young. But we're plugging in this explosive, fast, big-bodied wide receiver. Like, to me, that's just insanity. The fact that he's just going at wide receiver 23, that you can get this type of guy in round 5, where I'm projecting him in my own personal projections to have around 145, 150 targets this season. I think he's going to be the absolute stud that they drafted him to be. And really the ceiling is up there because, like I said, he's got the speed, he's got the big body, so he's going to be scoring touchdowns. The question is, how much else can the team around him support them to keep drives going? Can Bryce Young take another step in development and really help elevate this whole offense around him to keep the offense going? I just think that they're in a tough division in terms of the Falcons are looking improved. The Buccaneers have that high-powered offense. The Panthers are going to have to score. They're going to have to score to keep up. They're not really in the full-blown blow it up and rebuild type mode. So they're looking to see what they have right now in Bryce before his rookie year contract is up. This is where they're going to start to make that transition to the middle of the pack type team, where they're going to go ahead and try to win games. And to do that in today's NFL, you really have to have a passing game. And that's where Tess just going to be. He's going to be the passing game. Point blank period. Happy Hudson, I see you in the chat. Carolina is kind of like the Bengals, bad defense. They're going to have to put up points. Exactly how I'm looking at it. The defense isn't quite there. The running game is good with Chuba, we saw last season, but it can't be fully relied upon to be the only source of offense. They're going to take the shift more towards passing. And I don't believe that Bryce Young is a superstar stud, but I think he is more than capable of propping up one wide receiver for an entire season. And that's exactly what Tet is. So trying to grab Tet everywhere I can before the blow up happens, because we know these rookie ADPs, they're very palatable and very easily digested in their rookie season. And then all of a sudden next year he's going back into the first round, early second round, and you're going to be sitting here wishing you had just taken advantage when he was in the 5th round. But like I said, kind of cheating here in the middle rounds by taking a guy who goes at the top of round 5. So I'm going to go ahead and give another one here, and it's going to be someone I also talked about with Jason on my first show, and that's going to be Josh Downs of the Indianapolis Colts. He's going right now around the end of the 8th round, pick 94, wide receiver 47. And to me, it still feels crazy low. I know no one's very excited about the Colts offense. It's pretty much going to be Jonathan Taylor leading the forefront as the identity of this offense. But again, it's another team where they're going to need to pass the ball to someone. And we saw Josh Downs last season take a big step forward and start commanding targets. And I'm fully projecting that Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback for the majority of 2025, if not the entirety of 2025. We could see Richardson slip in there if they want to give him another chance. But I truly think that Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. He's going to be able to be more of the game manager that I just don't know if Richardson can pull off at this stage of his career. We saw Daniel Jones last year in his 10 games with the Giants just absolutely hammer Wan'Dale Robinson with targets nonstop. Wan'Dale Robinson was averaging 8.4 targets per game with Daniel Jones. And it's a very similar type of guy. As the slot guy gets open across the middle, is an easy outlet for Daniel Jones. We know Jones was terrified of taking hits, so he's going to be looking for that open, quick option frequently, and it's going to be Josh Downs. Downs showed it last year. He's going to go ahead and show up and show it again this year. I don't think Jones wants to push the ball to the outside too much. He's going to be looking for the easy target, and that's why I'm making the bet on Downs this season. In terms of Josh Downs himself, last year in 2024, in games where Downs had 8+ targets, he was averaging 16.5 fantasy points per game. So, like I said, Wan'Dale averaging 8.4 targets per game in the slot. Josh Downs with 8+ targets, 16.5 fantasy points per game. There's no reason that shouldn't be a consistent thing that we see week in, week out, where Downs is just getting fed. And that's not to say, obviously, like, this is an 8th round pick. I'm not going to sit here and just tell you guys that there's no downside to this Josh Downs play. Obviously, Indianapolis is in a state of flux right now. There's uncertainty all across the board. And in the games where Downs didn't get his 8 targets per game, he was only looking at about 8.7 fantasy points per game. So I'm not sitting here saying, oh, he's a week in, week out starter, just smash start, don't even worry about it. But I am saying that I think there's going to be a lot more games. I would say 66 to 75% of games where he's getting those 8 targets and getting the volume that he needs to produce, rather than over the small amount of games that I'm predicting him to have under those 8 targets. Again, I called it in my first show with Jason. I fully expect Josh Downs to smash his ADP. I'd even say he's going to be a top. I said top 20 as a crazy bold take on that first show. I would confidently say he's going to be a top 24 wide receiver this year. The volume has got to be there. As long as Daniel Jones is the quarterback, I think the volume is going to be there, and he is going to absolutely deliver and be a steal in the 8th round. He's a guy that makes me comfortable in going robust RB, where I'm talking about, where I have no problem taking Chase Brown in the 2nd round, no matter what, because there's guys like Downs that are just sitting here in the 8th round, a complete value, a complete target magnet that show that he has big playability and can just gobble up the yards underneath. So he's definitely someone that I'm looking to go ahead and add to almost every squad. It doesn't matter if it's best ball, doesn't matter if it's redraft. I'm looking for Josh Downs every single time. Going to go ahead and move on to the late round guy that I'm looking for, and I'm going to switch it up. Not going with a wide receiver this time, coming back to the running back position, because when I'm in these late rounds 11 through 16, 15, whatever your league goes to, these late round targets, I am looking for running backs that are in a position to where they can step into a lead back role if there is an injury ahead of them. But I also kind of want someone that has a role carved out for them already, so that way I know the team wants them. The team wants to give them opportunities. And then if there is that contingent upside, that's exactly what I want. And for me this year, that's going to be Braylon Allen of the New York Jets. He's just a huge-bodied, fast running back who is really good. Like, once he gets downhill, once he gets that full head of steam, he is someone that the secondary players don't want to see. Even some linebackers probably don't want to see coming with a full head of steam. And guess what? The Jets brought in Justin Fields, and we all know the Alfred Morris corollary gives the running back an extra step, because the defense has to stay a little bit more honest. They have to take a little bit more of a hesitation step instead of just being able to flood the gaps and just bull rush the offensive line like they were able to do with Aaron Rodgers. The defenses are going to have to be a little bit more honest with Justin Fields, because Fields can do an RPO. He can pull it himself. He can run out the outside. So defenses are going to have to be a little bit more aware of everybody on the field rather than just seeing Braylon Allen's on the field, watch the run. It's going to give Allen the opportunity to really get that 4.5 speed on display and make it to that second level of the defense. So that's why I'm really looking at him. The offense as a whole should really improve under the Jets. I know Fields isn't the passer that Aaron Rodgers is, but we saw Fields be very competent in just getting the ball down the field in Pittsburgh. And I feel like we're going to see something very similar in New York. New York has went ahead and bolstered their offensive line by taking a first rounder this season. So I'm really looking to see just another step forward from the Jets, from Justin Fields, and from Braylon Allen in general. As I said, in this range, I'm really looking for a guy that's kind of got an established role. He was averaging around 8 touches per game, and that includes passing game work. He wasn't just being used as a bruiser up the middle. They did go ahead and work some screens in, and there were some dump offs there to him too. So he's got the full range, the full 3-down set ability. So if there is anything that happens to Breece Hall this year, they have someone that can step in and he won't be the Breece Hall 80% guy, but he could be the 60% guy with Isaiah Davis behind, or Isaiah Davis behind him, where he's going to be the primary first and second down, even some third down backs. So he's going to be, if anything does happen to Breece Hall, he will be the primary guy, in my opinion. He's going to get that first shot at it to have that 60% share. So that kind of upside is what I'm looking for. Again, I'm also excited to have just 8 to 10 touches per game from him, because he is a guy who can bust off a huge run with that speed. He can pound it in from the goal line if need be, and he can catch it out of the backfield. So he's a guy that can really just do it all. So it's a high upside thing that I'm looking for in rounds 11 through 16 here. But I would really love to hear what you guys think at the beginning of drafts, in the middle of drafts, or at the end of drafts. Who are your favorite targets this season? Go ahead and put them in the chat now. Post it to the comments after the video. Go over to X and go on the Player Profiler news page. Go to my page and just let me know who are your favorite draft targets this season. We can go ahead and talk about them next week too. I'm going to go ahead and we as I said, we're in redraft season, so it's going to be fun to just kind of keep talking about these guys that maybe aren't getting the full news treatment. They aren't getting, there's nothing big being talked about them, but they're going to be the silent winners of your draft. They're going to set you up to go ahead and have a strong foundation for your teams this year. And that is all that I really had today for Wake and Take. I really appreciate you guys once again. As you can see here, go ahead, like I said, follow me on X. I'm going to start posting more in-depth data backup for my takes that I have here, so you can kind of see my process on how I come to these takes. I promise you, I'm not just sitting here pulling things, reaching down, pulling things out of the bag and just tossing them out there at you guys. I'm really putting the thought into this, so I want you to go ahead and see that kind of behind the scenes process. So like I said, follow me on X at @JOwens_FF. If there's anyone you want me to talk about on the show, let me know there. I'm going to really start to ramp up the content there to tie into the show here and try to get the community involved as much as possible, because honestly, this show is nothing without the community. You guys have been absolutely amazing to me so far. Jason has told me how great you guys really are, and I've seen that in my first 3 shows here. So really excited to continue that and really just keep this Wake and Take thing rolling with the high vibes. Really want you guys to be a part of this. So thank you so much for joining me once again. And just have a great day. Again, next week, I have Evan Ringler coming on the show. Excited to have him on there. And I I will talk to you guys on Tuesday.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to playerprofiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.